sisters, brothers, fathers, mothers, to another one of my special wizard tales.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Goldilocks lived on a farm on the edge of a forest. Her parents called her Goldilocks because of her beautiful blonde curly hair. She was an only child and was often lonely while her parents were in the fields all day.
Be a good girl while we're off at work, Goldie. And please don't forget to take the mushroom soup off the stove, darling. Bye!
Called her mother as they set off early one morning. Goldilocks looked out of the window.
If I just had someone to play with,
she sighed. First of all, she pretended to be an acrobat in the circus and bounced so hard on her bed that it broke. Then she pretended to be a ballerina and spun around so much that she got dizzy. As she lay on the ground, feeling very woozy indeed, the smell of burnt mushroom soup wafted into the room.
Oh, it's ruined. Oh, Mama will be furious. Oh, no.
Coughed Goldilocks. She raced into the kitchen to take the pot off the stove. It was a blackened mess. Poor Goldilocks. She thought if only she could pick some mushrooms in the nearby fields and get back before her mother got home, everything would be all right. As she hurried through the long grass, she caught her foot in a hole and tripped.
Hey, you get off of my hole,
said a cheeky voice.
A speaking rabbit,
cried Goldilocks, scrambling to her feet. Benny the bunny introduced himself and asked Goldilocks why she was in such a hurry.
Field mushrooms? Ha, they're right out of season. But I know where there's a whole bunch of forest mushrooms,
he said when Goldilocks explained her problem. Goldilocks wasn't sure that she wanted to go into the forest. She had promised her parents that she would stay close to home while they were at work.
But it's not dangerous. Strangerous, maybe. Ha, that's because it's strange.
Benny assured her. So Goldilocks followed him through the fields and deep into the dark, eerie forest. After a while, they stopped in a clearing to talk to Benny's friend, Ollie the Owl.
You're out very late, Benny,
hooted the owl.
I can stay out even later than this if I want,
claimed Benny. But at that very moment, his mother appeared and shooed him home immediately.
I think you're a bad influence on my Benjamin,
she said angrily to Goldilocks. And she stalked off, leaving poor Goldilocks all alone in the forest. Looking around, Goldilocks spied something interesting a long way ahead.
Mushrooms! Thank goodness for that!
She exclaimed. By the time Goldilocks had filled her basket to the brim, it was beginning to get quite dark. Time to go home.
Oh dear! Was it that way? Or that way? Oh, I'm lost!
She wailed. Through the trees, she saw a distant light.
It must be a farmhouse. Oh, thank heavens for that!
She cried with relief and set off quickly towards it. Poor Goldilocks didn't realize that she was heading even deeper into the forest. When she drew closer to the inviting glow, she saw that she had been mistaken.
Oh my! Fireflies! Oh, how beautiful!
She said softly to herself. It was a beautiful, magical sight, and for a moment Goldilocks forgot her panic as she watched them dancing and weaving through the trees. Suddenly, a very loud noise shattered the peace. A herd of stampeding elks was thundering towards her, and Goldilocks had nowhere to hide. As she looked around desperately, the little fireflies broke off their dance and gently lifted her safely out of harm's way. The stampede was over as quickly as it began, and Goldilocks jumped down from her perch. The fireflies twinkled and weaved around her, beckoning her to follow them to a dry cave where she could spend the night. She tried to be brave as she waved goodbye to her fiery friends.
Isn't it dark without them? But I'm not really frightened. And I'm not really hungry. Not really.
Then she lay down on the floor and tried to sleep. When the sun rose the next morning, Goldilocks was feeling very miserable.
Oh, so tired. And hungry.
She yawned. Looking around, she saw a wisp of smoke rising above the trees, and from the same direction came a very delicious smell.
Porridge! It is porridge! I know the smell of porridge anywhere. It's my favorite,
she exclaimed. So she hurried down the path until she came to a peaceful little valley where she found a quaint log cabin. There was nobody home, but the door was unlocked, so Goldilocks went inside. Inside, Goldilocks saw 3 bowls laid out on the dining room table. There was a large bowl, a middle-sized bowl, and a small bowl. Goldilocks was almost fainting with hunger, and she couldn't help herself. She tried a spoonful from the big bowl.
Too hot,
she cried. She tried a spoonful from the middle-sized bowl.
Too cold. Yuck,
she said. She tried a spoonful from the smallest bowl, and it was so good that she ate it all up. When she'd finished the porridge, her tummy was quite full, and she felt rather sleepy, so she looked around for somewhere to sit down comfortably. In the living room, there were 3 rocking chairs, a large one, a middle-sized one, and a small one. Goldilocks sat on the biggest chair.
too hard,
she complained. Next, she tried the middle-sized chair.
Too soft,
She grumbled. Then she sat on the littlest chair, and it was just right. But Goldilocks was far too big for the tiny chair. As she began to rock, it collapsed under her weight. Goldilocks decided to explore further. In the bedroom upstairs, she saw 3 beds. A large one, a middle-sized one, and a small one. She climbed onto the biggest bed.
too hard.
She complained. She tried the middle-sized bed.
No, too soft.
She grumbled. Then she climbed into the tiny bed and pulled up the covers. It was just right, and she fell fast asleep. She slept so soundly that she didn't hear the owners of the cabin return from their morning walk. Mr. Herbert Bear, Mrs. Beverly Bear, and their young son Bartholomew Bear were rather alarmed to find the door of their cabin wide open, and they were even more disturbed by what they saw inside.
Someone's been eating my porridge! How dare they!
Boomed Father Bear.
Oh, and someone's been eating my porridge too,
Exclaimed Mother Bear.
Someone's been eating my porridge too, and they've eaten it all up.
Wailed Baby Bear. Next, they checked the living room.
Look! Someone's been sitting in my chair! It's been moved, darn it!
Growled Father Bear.
Someone someone's been sitting on my chair as well. Oh, this is awful,
wailed Mother Bear. But Baby Bear was most upset of all.
And someone's been sitting in my chair, too, and broken it all to bits.
He sobbed. Mother Bear comforted him, and they all crept upstairs to see if they could find the intruder. When they reached the bedroom, Father Bear let out a growl of disgust.
Boy, oh boy! Someone's been lying in my bed! I don't believe this, Beverly!
He shouted.
and mine too, Herbert. Oh, how dare they just walk in here and take over the house?
Agreed Mother Bear. Baby Bear was so shocked by what he saw that he could hardly speak.
Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and there she is!
He squeaked. Bears are very much afraid of humans, so when they saw Goldilocks, they all began to howl in fright. The horrible noise woke her up, and she was so terrified that she gave a shriek and darted under the bed. Goldilocks cowered under the bed, her teeth chattering with terror, while the bear shrank into the far corner of the room.
Maybe you better go and fetch her out. You got a better way with humans than me,
said Father Bear anxiously to his wife. Beverly Bear crept over and peered under the bed.
I don't believe she's one of those really dangerous humans, Herbert. She's so cute, and she looks kinder scared to me.
Mother Bear gently coaxed Goldilocks out from under the bed, promising that they wouldn't hurt her. Papa Bear was a bit nervous, but he agreed not to bite Goldilocks so long as she didn't bite him.
I'm sorry I broke your chair and ate your porridge. It was an accident,
apologized Goldilocks. The kindly Mother Bear sent her out to play in the yard with Bartholomew while she made them toast and honey. They had such a good time. Goldilocks was almost sorry when it was time to leave. Father Bear showed her a path that would take her straight home, and she hurried off waving goodbye fondly. Goldilocks would have been very sad if she had seen what happened to her new friends next, but she was well out of sight when some hunters sprang from a truck and caught the little family of bears in a net. When she arrived home at last, Goldilocks' parents were very relieved to see her.
Why, if anything happened to you, it would have broken our hearts,
said her father. They hugged and kissed, and Goldilocks promised never to run off into the forest again. But she often thought about Benny the Bunny and the kind-hearted bear family when she was bored at home.
I miss my friends,
she sighed. Her parents saw that she was feeling glum and arranged a special treat for her.
There's a circus in town. Would you like to go?
Asked her father. The circus was playing in a large striped tent on the village green. Goldilocks watched wide-eyed as the ringmaster introduced one thrilling act after another. Bongo the Clown made the audience laugh with his big feet and funny juggling. A swarthy Cossack in an exotic costume swallowed a blazing sword in one gulp. And a giant gorilla swung high above the crowd on a trapeze, doing amazing somersaults while calmly eating a banana. But Goldilocks' happy smile froze when the ringmaster introduced the last item on the program.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our newest act, the fabulous Three Bears!
There, chained together in the middle of the ring, looking very sad and frightened, were Mother, Father, and Baby Bear, The cruel ringmaster cracked his whip and they all stumbled through the hoop he held out.
No, it's just horrible. So cruel and wicked. Poor bears,
whispered Goldilocks with tears in her eyes. Later, when the crowd had left, Goldilocks hid in the shadow of the big top.
If I could just find them and set them free,
she thought. So while the nasty ringmaster counted his money, she crept along the cages where the animals were kept, peering into each one. The first cage contained an enormous lion, and Goldilocks jumped back in fright as it bared its giant teeth and growled at her. The next contained the giant gorilla from the trapeze act. In the last cage, she found her friends, the bears, whose sad faces lit up when they recognized her.
Oh, we do miss being free, Goldilocks. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to our family,
whispered Mother Bear tearfully.
I'm going to help you all escape,
said Goldilocks firmly. Bongo the Clown had befriended the bears. He told Goldilocks that she would find the ringmaster's keys hanging on a string above his stove.
Thanks, Bongo. I'll be right back. Wish me luck, everyone,
she said bravely. She followed the evil ringmaster to his caravan and slipped inside while he was gathering up some broken drums and hoops to mend. She saw the keys straight away and stood on her tiptoes to reach them. But the ringmaster returned too soon, and she had to dart into a cupboard, where she hid for several hours until she was certain that he was fast asleep. Bongo and the bears were relieved when Goldilocks returned safely with the keys. She had been gone so long they'd nearly given up hope. Very quietly, she unlocked the cage and they all began to tiptoe away. But as they passed the gorilla's cage, he reached out with his big paws, grabbed the keys and opened the door to his cage with a loud clang.
What? Someone's letting the darned animals out!
Cried the ringmaster, leaping out of bed. He chased Goldilocks and the three bears all around the big top, right up the narrow, shaky ladder that led to the trapeze. They were trapped high in the top of the tent with nowhere to go but down. As the ringmaster made a vicious lunge at them, there was a whistling noise right beside them. The giant gorilla swung through the air on his trapeze and snatched up the evil ringmaster before he could harm them. And Goldilocks, Bongo and the three bears all laughed with relief at their lucky escape as they tumbled through the air to the safety net below. After that, Bongo the Clown couldn't stay at the circus, so he went to live with the three bears in their little cabin in the forest. And Goldilocks' parents allowed her to visit them every day, so she was never bored or lonely again.
Thus another fine wizard tale concludes. Sisters, brothers, fathers, mothers, join me again soon for another classic tale. Won't you?